Hi, my name is Jordan, and today I'm going to be talking about The Wedding Banquet and Tokyo Godfathers. So, actually, I had seen the Tokyo Godfathers before because I'm a big fan of Satoshi Kon, and Perfect Blue is one of my favorite movies, but I hadn't seen The Wedding Banquet, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so, for question one, I would say that both movies depict non traditional families, which is definitely different from all the movies that we have watched so far, which depict traditional families, which is typically a mother, father, and children. And so I think that both of these movies show that all a family is a group of people who care for each other and support one another. So for The Wedding Banquet, by the end of the movie, the family depicted is two gay men and a single mother. And so this is definitely different from what is traditional. And for Tokyo Godfathers, the family depicted is composed of three homeless people, with one being a drag queen, one being a father who abandoned his family, and a teenage girl who ran away from home. And so these three people are not related to each other by blood, but they still show that they care for one another like a traditional blood-related family would. So for question two, Wei-tung leaves his homeland because he is gay and knows that his parents wouldn't accept that, and he knows this because they constantly tell him to marry a woman and that they want grandchildren. And he probably moves to America because being gay is seen as slightly better than countries in Asia, but this was made in 1993 and gay marriage wasn't legalized yet. So for the tensions, the fight that breaks out between Wei-tung, Simon, and Wei-wei after finding out about her pregnancy causes Wei-tung's father to have a stroke, and this leads to Wei-tung confessing to his mother that he is in a relationship with Simon, which I think helps him grow as a character because it relieves him of this burden and guilt that he's been carrying the whole movie. For Tokyo Godfathers, it seems like Miyuki left home due to strict and overbearing parents. Jin left home due to a drinking and gambling problem that led him to being in debt. And Hana grew up in foster care and was raised by a drag queen who she calls mother. And it seems like she left home after attacking a man who called her names and left because she didn't want to cause any more trouble. So for tensions, the main three characters have a lot of tensions throughout the film, but they remain a family despite this because they're shown constantly fighting and bickering with each other. And specifically in the scene where Jin finally meets his daughter after a long time, Hana purposely creates tension with Jin to make him seem like a hero to his daughter and to help their strained relationship. And so I think this helps Hana grow as a character to show that she cares about Jin even though they constantly fight and bicker. And it shows that Jin cares about his daughter even though they haven't seen each other in a long time. So for question three, The Wedding Banquet definitely addresses the biases towards heterosexual couples and the biases against homosexual couples. And something that I like about this movie is that it shows Simon and Wei-tung's relationship as being typical or normal like a heterosexual couple. Because usually homosexual couples are hypersexualized or hyperfeminized, but they're shown as being just very typical, like they're shown fighting like any other couple would be, and they're shown as being very caring and loving towards each other. And I think this is needed so that people who aren't familiar with homosexuality or believe the harmful stereotypes around them can see that they're just typical, like they're just in love, and there's nothing different about them from heterosexual couples. And so I also like that the film addresses interracial relationships, because not just Simon and Wei-tung being interracial, but also the woman who's an opera singer who he meets says that she has a relationship with a white man, and even though that relationship is heterosexual, she still is afraid to tell her parents, who are likely traditionally minded and see interracial couples as being bad. And so for Tokyo Godfathers, It definitely depicts how people have negative biases towards homeless people. And this is shown in the movie with people holding their nose around them all the time, and people belittling them, and even the group of men who beat up Jin and the old man just because they're homeless. And at the end of the movie, when Miyuki's father warns Kyoko's real parents that the people who saved their baby are homeless, they show that, you know, they don't care. They save their baby and that's all they care about. And so I think this movie helps show that homeless people are people and that it's extremely hard to live on the streets. You know, it's hard to find food, and especially during Christmas when it's really cold, it's hard to find somewhere warm to stay. And so it shows that we should be kind to these people who most likely didn't choose to be homeless, since it's so hard. And we even see Hana struggle with her health because she isn't getting nutrition or sleep. And so for question 4, I really liked all the stories and movies that we read/watched, but I think my favorite story was Interpreter Maladies. I think every story in this book was very interesting and entertaining to read. And before this class, I didn't know very much about Indian culture, so I felt like I learned a lot through these stories. And I think my favorite was the title story, Interpreter Maladies, just because it shows this cultural gap that Americans like myself have with cultures outside of America. And for the movie, I had already seen some of them. Like I said, Tokyo Godfathers, I had seen Parasite and Drive My Car. But for the ones that I hadn't seen, I think I liked To Live the best. It was very enjoyable to watch, even though it was very sad at times. But as with Interpreter Maladies, I didn't know very much about Chinese culture or how Mao Zedong's leadership affected China and its people. And so I liked how it just demonstrated what China was like before and after his leadership, and how it affected both the people and the environment. And like I said, I hadn't thought of or rarely seen how communism affected China, because we just hear that it was bad. But I think it was interesting to see this family and how they were affected by it. But I enjoyed every story and movie that we watched, and I enjoyed this class very much. Thank you.